Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Entrepreneur. Welcome to my vlogging channel. If this is your first time here and you happen to like this video, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification. This channel is a little different from my main channel. I kind of talk about life, the universe, things of this nature. And today was an interesting day for me. I received a Facebook message from someone I had not talked to in probably a good 10 years. Name, not important, but sent a Facebook message, hey, can we talk? And sure, of course we talked. And sent him the number, called right away, and we talked for probably a good hour or so. What we were talking about was a little bit of this and that. How are you doing? What's life taking you? And the reason he wanted to reach out and talk is because it was the 10-year anniversary of when me and him joined the Disney College Program. You can see this right here. The Disney College Program is basically an internship. You take a couple classes at the Disney University while you work at the theme park. So basically, you're getting like a basic job at Disney. Now here's the thing. You might ask, well, doesn't sound like that's like a much of an internship, and it's like, it's probably not. There are probably more important internships that you could be doing. But here's the thing. It is a good paying job. For a lot of people, it will get them out of their house and into either Florida or Anaheim. And it kind of gives them like experience in the workforce as well as juggling school and work and responsibilities. And you meet a lot of really nice people. Now, it's been 10 years since this program took place. And when we talked, one of the things he asked was like, do you talk to anyone else from the college program still? And I had to admit I didn't talk to many people. There were a few. And one of them even came to the wedding. But for the most part, no. The people that I went to the college program with, I mean, we're still Facebook friends for the most part, but they're living their life. I'm living mine. And it would be, some would probably say, so the college program didn't really do much for you then. You worked at Disney for a little while, and then you moved on. You didn't work your way up in the company by any stretch of the imagination. You didn't become like a writer for Disney Animation. You didn't do any of that. And that's true. That's absolutely true. My career with Disney did end after a few years, a couple of years after the college program ended. And there were some ups and downs, but when I look at the whole, the college program was definitely did more for me in life than most things. So to explain how I got involved with the Disney College Program, I was living at home with my parents. I had no intention of moving outside of Sacramento. Just wasn't going to happen. Unfortunately, I wasn't working. I wasn't working because I was fired from my job at Fry's Electronics. Now, I sued them and got a pretty nice little reward for doing so, but that money wasn't going to last forever, and I needed to do something. I was looking for jobs in Sacramento and just not finding any. I didn't have a lot of skills or anything like that. I got an email one day, and it looked very different from this website. In fact, the Disney College Program used to be purple and everything, which, purple and yellow with yellow text. So I liked that design personally, but, I guess things change. And it was like, hey, do you want to do the Disney College Program? You can live on a campus, like in an apartment for a few months. You can work at the park, you do some classes, and you can either stay or you can leave. And not having a whole lot to do at that point, I applied. I figured I wouldn't get very far. I did get an interview. I got through the questionnaire interview, passed that. Then I got a phone interview. And apparently I passed that, and then I was offered a position. I happily accepted, and everyone was happy. That's when reality starts to sink in a little bit. As it dawns on me, shoot, I'm leaving Sacramento. I'm going to be living in Anaheim. Like 8 hours away. I'm going to be living away from mom and dad. All the friends I made are going to be gone. And, it's going to be a new life. But I needed to work. I needed to do something. So I packed up my bags and I left. And I joined the Disney College Program in January of 2009. The first couple months were difficult, to be perfectly blunt. Um, I'm always slow to make friends, and while there were some nice kids in the college program, I really wasn't making friends with people the way I thought I would. Working at the park was fun, and going to Disneyland whenever I wanted, that was really great. And having friends visit me because I could get them into Disneyland for free, that was really nice. But for the most part, it was getting really difficult to settle in. At one point, though, I did settle in. I started making really good friends. I even met a girl that I personally really liked. It didn't work out, and I'm very happy it didn't work out, for the record. And I was starting to develop a life, if you will. So much so that midway through the college program, once I'm settled in, I've got friends, I like where things are going, it dawned on me it wasn't going to last forever. The college program was 8 months long. Now, one of my friends said that that was like probably 2 months too much. Like, basically, from his perspective, you stay there long enough to get settled, and then as you get settled, you realize it's going to end in a couple months. And I don't know. I cherish that time. And yet, when the college program ended and friends said goodbye, it was tough. Very few people decided to stay behind. Most of the people who stayed working at Disney were people I wasn't friends with personally. There was one friend, his name was George, who did stick around for about a month or two afterwards and decided it was like too tough. And he ended up going back to Texas. And depression set in once again because I have a hard time with change and I was alone. And now I was working in a park, and I was enjoying that job, but I wasn't getting the hours that I used to make. Now I had to find my own place to live. I remember like getting a place in Long Beach, a $300 room in this really crummy neighborhood where you went to bed to gangs fighting outside. Like I'm always amazed like a gunshot didn't shoot through the window or something. It was kind of a scary time in life. And part of me wonders, like, in hindsight, why didn't I go home? Why didn't I say, this really isn't for me, I'm going to go home, I'm going to move on? But I kind of told myself, you know what? You've got Asperger's. It'd be very easy to go home to mom and dad and live there forever. Or, hey, you're out here, you're settling, you've got some sort of roots settling. So why don't you stay here and make it work? If you go home, you will never come back out. So I did stay here. Now, because I was alone, that was tough. I ended up doing because during the college program, I probably skipped a step. Some friends started going to a church, and they brought me to that church a couple times. And I couldn't go to that church often because I was working Sundays. But after everyone left, frankly, I didn't need to work as many Sundays. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to start going to church and plugging more into that. And it's good not only just, because you want to get the word of God and everything, but, there are people there. There are people who cared. I made lifelong friends there. I'm still at that church, which is why I'm not saying what church it is. And they really became my new family here. And I settled roots with them, relationships with them. At one point, I did get out of that crummy Long Beach place, and I moved to where I live now, and really haven't left since then. 10 years has gone by. I was 24, maybe 23, really, when I moved here. And even though my career with Disney did not pan out the way I wanted to, after 3 years, there was an incident at the park involving a minor and alcohol, and they convinced me to resign, and I did. In hindsight, I should not have done that. I should have fought that decision. But, I ended up leaving Disney. Was unemployed for a little while, started driving for Uber, started sharing the experience on YouTube, found out that I actually am fairly decent at making YouTube videos, or at least people are interested in hearing what I have to say. And then I'm now doing YouTube now. And my online career is thriving. And none of this would have happened if it weren't for signing up for the Disney College program. Now, keep in mind, this is not like necessarily an endorsement saying you should definitely sign up for the Disney College program. It's not for everyone. Because if you don't like Disney, and it might not really be your thing. But I kind of look at the Disney College Program and the opportunities that I got from joining it and participating in it are special. In fact, one of the most special things is, as a huge Disney fan, working at Disney resulted in me doing a lot of the things that most Disney fans only dream about doing. I worked at Disneyland. I got to dine at Club 33. I got to go in the D Suite over Pirates of the Caribbean. I got to go into the Sleeping Beauty's castle. I got to meet many Disney legends, including Dick Van Dyke, Richard Sherman, Glenn Keane, Eric Goldberg. I got to tour Pixar Animation Studios. I got to tour Walt Disney Animation Studios. I took people to the Walt Disney Studios. I could actually take people to the Disney Studios. I met Bob Iger. I have been to Disney. Most people are lucky if they go to Disneyland once in their life. I have been there hundreds of times, easily. And it's kind of interesting because I was talking to the friend and I said, it's kind of funny how our perception kind of color codes things for us. I've got to do so many of these Disney experiences and I'm nostalgic for them, and I sometimes forget like how blessed I am to actually have gotten to do these things in the first place. Most Disney fans will never get to do the things that I have done at Disney. So I even kind of said at one point, not that I hope this is true, but God forbid if I never went to Disneyland again, I'd be okay. I got to go way more than most people, and that's fine. Disney College Program did something for me. It got me out of Sacramento. It showed that I could live on my own. It showed that I could lose and make friends twice in the span of a year. It showed that I had a likable personality enough to go to many events that most people could only dream about going to. I even went to the premiere of the Muppets, by the way. That was so nice. A few of the friends have been lifelong, and I still talk to them. And I'm not making this video to say you should sign up for the Disney College Program. I'm saying sometimes life brings you in surprising directions. You do something and it doesn't seem like it's going to be that big of a deal. Working at Disneyland for a semester, big whoop, right? But sometimes the overall bigger picture, you would not trade those experiences for the world, and you are a better person for having gone through those experiences. And so I will always appreciate the Disney College Program for that. True, there were people there who didn't like it very much. Heavy drinking was a problem, and you could always hear the cast members humping each other through the walls. That was always fun. But signing up for the Disney College Program and where life took me showed that I was adaptable, and I could make it, and I thought that would. And so I'm kind of looking back on it with fondness. Yeah, there was a lot of depression. Yeah, it wasn't always fun. I struggled in it because it wasn't the college program that I was struggling with. It was just life. It was growing up. It was getting out of the comfort zone, which is really difficult for people with Asperger's to do. But I was able to do it. And it all started by taking a chance on the Disney College Program. So it's 10 years later, and I'm feeling a little nostalgic, kind of amazed at how far I've come. Now, by the way, this person who called to kind of reminisce a little bit, he might be working on me with like some graphics on YouTube. So it's kind of funny. He shared with me that when he was in the college program, I shared him a video of the Nostalgia Critic reviewing The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. And when his college program experience ended on a much more sour note, he was depressed. He was watching Nostalgia Critic to basically help with the depression, realized they were local, and is now friends with Doug Walker and actually does a lot of productions with him. And had I not shown him that video, he might never have known that. And now that he has gained some of that experience, he wants to help, with some of the artwork and stuff that he's done for their channel, and he wants to bring it to my channel. So it's funny how life works that way sometimes. and you just never know what's going to happen. And sometimes life is a little rough, but I'm kind of choosing these days to count the blessings. I want to be more of a glass half full type of person. And the Disney College Program, despite being something that was very painful at times and I struggled with a lot, I look at with fondness because I struggled and because it was hard and because it pushed me to do things that I normally would not have done. Interestingly, one of my teachers at the college program was a Facebook friend, and he said something that was really wrote something that's very powerful. I was on Facebook. The semester had ended. I was complaining about the lack of friends, the struggles, the hours, and it was like, why is this happening to me? He wrote a parable about Jesus, where Jesus went to this guy and he said, I've heard your pleas that life is too rough. I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm going to take away your burden and I'm going to give you a new burden. And the guy says, sure, absolutely. So they go into a room with all these crosses because the crosses represent the burdens. And they're walking through and there's these big, some of these crosses are super big. And he sees a little cross, like the smallest cross easily in the entire room. And he said, that's the cross I want. That's the burden I want to shoulder. And Jesus looks to him and says, really? Because that's the cross I just removed from you. That stuck with me all these years. And yeah, I think about it, it's like, yeah, I probably had like a little small cross back then. I couldn't see the bigger picture and I was just complaining about it. So it's so yeah. If I mean, life is still a little rough sometimes, but overall I'm doing much better. I'm happy where life is for the most part. I'm happy certain relationships didn't work out during the college program. I'm happy and pleasantly surprised and pleased to say that some relationships did work out. I don't know if I'll ever be working for Disney again. I don't know if they'll let me. I make too many videos criticizing their business decisions and some of their monopolistic traits. But I thought, for me, this was a good experience. And the point of this video is not necessarily, again, to say you should do the college program, but that you should take opportunities in life that, might just take you outside your comfort zone and might set you down a path that you didn't know you wanted to be down. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave this one. Did any of you go to the college program, or heck, what life experiences made a difference in your life? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.